Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles, and welcome to the final round of book and wine pairings. This has been a long time coming. I kind of left the last bottle of wine just sitting there for a while. This is the last round because I canceled my Naked Wine subscription. I will have to go back and see if I can still get into the portal for the tasting notes and all of that, if anybody even cares. But I have another round of 6 wines that I'm going to compare to books. These are all based on my first sip, my initial reaction, what it made me think of, what star rating I would give it, and a book that corresponds with that rating. The first one that I tried is called Mad Dash. It is a late harvest Zinfandel, and this was really fucking good, and I was so surprised. I actually remember the night that I opened this. Okay, it was Greek night at the basketball game, and I was there as a volunteer. I was helping out student life, check in our student leaders and whatnot. I work really closely with D9 organizations. Zetas won one of the awards at the end of the night and they got a prize. We drank a lot of wine that night, me and my friend Ashley, because the bartenders just didn't care. It was a Friday night. We had maybe 2 or 3 glasses of wine at the beginning of the night, and then we went up to the president's suite and we got a glass of wine there. And the bartender there had a huge cup and almost filled it up. So we drank that, and then Ashley came over because she was waiting for her girlfriend to come. I live close to the train station, so I was like, there's no point in you driving all the way home just to drive back, just stay. And then we opened this and it was really fucking good. So this one was a 5-star for me. It was delicious. It was smooth, but also not too sweet. And I really appreciated that. And so this made me think of Take a Chance by Mia Gomez. This is the first time that I ever read anything by this author. It was a random KU find. I picked it solely based on the cover and it ended up being a 5-star read, and I loved it. It was an unexpected like. The second wine that I tried was also a sweet red, and this one is from Millier, which is a brand that I've had in I think all of the wine boxes that I've gotten from Naked Wines, and this one specifically is from the Sweet collection because I wanted to try sweeter wine. So it says sweet red wine with natural berry flavors. Berry is not something that I usually look for in wine because sometimes berry flavors just don't always work for me, especially raspberry. I do not like raspberry, but this one was really good. I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars, and that reminded me of Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. I buddy read that with Robin at the beginning of the year. It was also a part of my Do I Like White Man Fantasy vlog, and surprisingly, I did like that one. That is the only one that I liked enough to continue the series. In fact, Robin and I will be reading book 2 next month, so I'm really excited about that. But also, I was surprised that I like this wine. This next one is called Dulce e Forte, and I really liked the bottle, but also really liked this wine in particular. I didn't know what to expect going in, and then I was very pleasantly surprised. This one falls right in between the other two. I would give it a 4.5, which correlates to Night Shift by Christina C. Jones. That is the first book in the Night Shift series, and going into it, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it because it's fated mates, which is something that I didn't think that I liked. However, that is also something that I would typically think of in the context of fantasy romance or maybe paranormal, something that has to do with shifters, which is not really my vibe. So I didn't think that I was going to like it, and for it to happen in a contemporary setting, I ended up loving it. And I do have a series review of Night Shift, so I will have that linked in the cards and in the description for you, but this one was a very happy surprise. Then shit went a little downhill, just a little bit, not terrible, but definitely not, we didn't keep on that high that we were on originally. So this one is Eponina's Sparkling Rosé. It wasn't bad. It was mid. It was a 3-star, and it was just okay, you know? And that's how I felt about Worth It by Lady Marie. If I'm not mistaken, this is her very first published work, and I had read 3 other things, her newer releases from her, so going back, I could definitely see the difference. There were also just characters that I didn't love and situations that it wasn't my favorite. It was just okay, right? So that's kind of how I felt about this one. Like I said, it wasn't bad, but it was kind of just average. Then we have another one from the same brand, but this one is Eponina Lush. I obviously have moved into the sparkling wines here, so I got 3 sweet and then I got 3 sparkling. This one, it wasn't remarkable, but it was good. It was better for sure. kind of like 3.5, you know what I mean? So for that, I would say that it reminds me of Three Dark Crowns. That is a book that I buddy read with Robin this year. Actually, no, Robin didn't finish it. I finished it and just told her what happened. And it was like, it had potential, you know? Like, it was okay. The only reason that it wasn't a 3-star is because the ending was actually very interesting enough that I now want to continue the series. Like, if I had to choose between this one and the other sparkling, I would choose this one, but like, I'm also not going to do it if I don't have to. And the final one is McNeil Rosé. This one was okay. It was just all right. It's not terrible, but it's also not great. I wouldn't get it again if I didn't have to, but it's also not as bad as some other things that I've had, if that makes sense. This one is more like a 3.25, so right in between the other two. And I would say that I had a similar feeling with Son of the Storm. I read this earlier this year, last year, at some point, fairly recently. And the entire time I was just kind of like, it's okay, it's all right. I finished that first book, didn't love it, gave it a 3.25, but am not continuing the series. Like, I'm glad that I read it because I was curious about it, but at the same time, it wasn't good enough to keep me interested to keep going. So that is my final round of book and wine pairings. I don't think I'm gonna do this again. I think it was fun while it lasted, and we're just gonna let it be a 4-part series and end it there. But let me know if you have tried any of these wines, if you've read any of the books that I mentioned, or if they are on your TBR. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.